Welcome to the Her Podcast with Kristen Sampson, offering a message of hope, encouragement, and reflection with special guests.
Welcome back to another episode of the Her Podcast, where we're doing a special series on ministers and their wives. Today we have Miss Stephanie and Paul Spurlin. Hey guys.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Thank y'all for taking your time to be on here with me and answer some questions and letting us all get to know you and behind the scenes in ministry and to be more transparent and and get to know y'all because
She was talking to you.
y'all do such great things. So we want to get to know you guys. Okay, so we're going to start
Thank
off.
you for having us.
Yes.
This whole podcasting thing seems like a cool stuff to do. I think it's awesome. Good stuff. I like your shirt.
You're a little partial.
Thanks.
Yeah, no plug mentioned or anything.
I'm not wearing. I'm not wearing any
We
merch
do.
today.
We do have stickers.
We have-
So
We have very yes. Oh
Yeah.
No, I'm not wearing any merch. I wore merch yesterday,
This
but
week.
not today.
the shirt does
Okay.
match.
Yeah. Okay.
It does.
Blanket
It
logo.
does
We'll
match
talk about that later.
the wheel.
Yeah.
So-
Thank you for having us.
okay, so tell us, how did you guys meet?
We actually met at.
I made it happen. Yes, I did.
He did. I was attending. My dad preached at the Hartsville Church of Christ, and I was attending there. Was out of school, and Paul. We had a mutual friend, and Paul talked to her and set it up, and we actually met at church.
I'd gone on a mission trip with Hartsville Church of Christ, and I knew Philip.
Okay.
He was Philip at that point. And then when I figured out he had a daughter of age that I could talk to, he became Mr. Hines.
There,
So that
quick.
changed
Yeah.
everything very
So, why
quickly.
don't I call your dad. I'm like, you call him Philip. So,
Now we call him the Pope.
no.
Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
I did the Pope.
So we met at church through a mutual
Yeah.
friend, and
How long y'all been married?
26 and a half years.
That is correct.
27 in July.
July.
July, yes. Yep. So
And y'all have how many kids?
we have
Two?
two wonderful
Two.
children. We have a daughter who is 17. Her name's Lainey,
Going on 30.
going on 30.
Absolutely.
Yes. She is now a bunny mom. She recently got a bunny.
Oh,
So we
If you added that.
So she now has, so she's in love with that. So you can keep your eye out. She's probably going to have her own like Instagram, and the bunny will probably have its own
That's on-
social media. So we
Sounds
have
fun.
Lainey, and she's a senior. No, she will be a senior next year. Sorry.
Okay.
He's a junior this year.
And then we have Tyler. He is
Who is
10,
10.
and he is
He's a man child. He's huge.
yes, he's so. And we have
Boy.
Taylor who's 10, and he is on the spectrum for autism.
Okay.
So he's two great kids. Two great kids.
That's wonderful. Okay, so in ministry, we all have challenges. What are some challenges that y'all have come and dealt with through y'all's ministry and y'all's personal life?
To be completely honest, family time is probably the biggest challenge. And I guess that's mostly my fault because of all the things we are involved in. So we're at Piedmont Road Church of Christ. We're right there in Marietta, Georgia, just north of Atlanta. And I serve as the connections minister there.
Okay.
And we love the church, love the, oh my word, we're blessed. But the church work is a lot and we love it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But there's extra stuff. There's Exposure Youth Camp. There's Ministry League. There's Lads to Leaders. There's Rush at Freed Hardeman. There's so many other conferences we do, even at Piedmont Road, within the church for the community, and it's a lot of stuff. And so the question is, how do you balance all that? We do the best we can, and then finding that time for each other
Yeah.
is probably the last thing on the list. I hate saying it, not that we want it to be. It's just
Yeah.
it seems that way sometimes.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
time with the kids,
Yeah.
finding that time it is a challenge.
Yeah. Because
But,
those kids get older and can be more involved in those things. And
Yeah,
and
that's true.
having a son that's on the spectrum does
Yep.
have, I'm sure,
It does.
has its challenges.
It's been challenging, but we make it work. I mean, we're at a congregation that has been awesome with us. We a lot of times as a minister's wife, you're put you're in the spotlight. I mean,
Yeah.
there is a fishbowl, it exists. I mean, you are
Absolutely.
in it,
Like
living
it or not. Yeah.
and like it or not. And so the congregation we're at now is just so phenomenal about letting me just feel like I can do what I need to do for my family and like with him. And so I feel like right now my job is in ministry is to take care of the kids, take care of the home, so that he can properly do his job.
Absolutely.
And I'm involved too, but I don't feel like I have to be at every single thing. I don't feel like I have to. If I'm not at something, I'm a failure as like a minister's wife. I mean, like I'm able to focus on what I need to be focused on right now. And, in order, like I said, for him to be able to do his job, I feel like that's important and be there for my family.
Was that something that came natural to you to have that balance of, okay, I can do this, but I can't do that because of this, because of having Tyler and a daughter? Yeah, I mean, it is
It's a
hard.
balance.
So how do you define those moments?
I just have to, like I said, the congregation we're at now is like amazing with like letting me feel that I can do that. And parenting, no matter, special needs kids or not, any kind of parent, you have to just be comfortable being you. Every you just feel like you have to tailor like what I do or what I can and cannot do based on how on what I know what I'm comfortable
You know your
with.
limit.
I know my limits.
Yeah.
And if I'm able to go to stuff, that's great. If I'm not able to go to something, that's fine too.
And you're okay with
I'm
that.
okay with that because I know I'm doing the best I can. And that's just what that's what that's what
And that is unique
That
in
is.
ministry.
It is.
We've been to a few places. To be fair, we've been in ministry all of our married life. So all that 26 and a half years has all been ministry. And we've seen and been a part of congregations that were not as easy to work with when it comes to Tyler. We've been at places where it was problematic.
Yeah.
Because of personalities that didn't understand where he was at and didn't understand the challenges that we had to face. But what we are definitely at a place where, and so if you're asking about ministry and autism and your family like that, that comes up. You have to do, especially if you're in ministry and you're looking for a place, you've got to do a lot of work and a lot of research to make sure this congregation is accepting of special needs children, especially doing that. I never thought that I'd ever be able to be in ministry with a child on the spectrum because I felt like either always being judged or always being questioned or, this or that, or you got to be this, you got to be that. Because both our dads preached almost 100 years together, not together, but together in their work.
Right.
And so we saw a lot of things. But yeah, you just got to do the work to find the right place.
Right. And be able, like I said, just mainly knowing your limits, know what you can do, knowing that I'm doing the best I can. And I've got tons of, and it's great because, Lainey is awesome. Lainey is like the best sister ever. And Paul is the best husband ever. And we make it work. And we just know.
Steph is the best mother ever.
Oh,
Well,
And wife.
behind every great man is an even better wife.
That is no doubt about that.
Just saying.
100%.
I just,
100%. I could not do what I do without her.
yeah. And so
Oh.
that's why as long as I'm making sure I'm taking care of our family where that he can do the job the best he can, then I don't worry about what other people think or what, that's the best I can. And that's okay.
That's fantastic because I know women struggle with that. I know I
do.
definitely had my moments where, not feeling like I just did a set of podcast episodes on being enough and like finding that balance in what you're good at, your talent, your thing, and feeling like that's enough.
Or what I can and cannot
and
do.
and what you can't do is okay. And so for you to both y'all be in ministry and be able to be okay with knowing that you have these limits, but you still are serving the Lord. You're still using your talent and you're still ministering.
Yes. And if we keep our focus on that, focus on God, focus on, our ultimate goal is to get to heaven. And if that's what I want is my family to go to heaven. And like, that's kind of what, as long as I'm doing that and striving for that, it really doesn't matter what other people think. It doesn't matter what, I don't know. It's just,
yeah, absolutely. It does.
When I'm doing the best I can. And I know, God knows I'm doing the best I can. We're doing the best we can. And so, but yeah, that's probably been one of as far as a challenge, is just, feeling like you have to be everything and everywhere all the time.
So how do y'all get Tyler involved? So someone, who's special like Tyler, like what are some things that y'all have found? Because in every situation is different. And so, how did you find that? How did you discover
we
That's
just, like I said, we're at a great congregation now to where we've been able to explore that. And so when we just let him do his thing. So like when we first got there, he wasn't really comfortable, in the auditorium. He's come a long way. Like we just sort of see what
I
he
should
can
say
do.
so.
Like
He
he's come
sits
a
on
long
his own
way.
pew now.
On Sunday nights he likes to sit
Yeah.
on his own pew, and
Pretty neat. And everybody notices it.
we've just had to let him kind of branch out and do his own thing, and be comfortable with that. Like let him, and so
Yeah.
and we have a lot of people come up and say, like you you stress out more than, not that you need to, but just what stresses us out as parents,
Mm.
other people are not as stressed out about.
Right.
Like we see our
They're so chill.
Our
It's like,
children,
why are y'all so
like-
awesome?
It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
because I walk
Yeah.
into church and I'm like,
Yeah.
basically, I hold my breath, and then after it's over, I can let it out. But we just have to know our limits with him. We know,
Well,
don't
for
know.
example, he preaches a sermon about 5 minutes before church starts. Last Sunday, I was in the foyer looking up the front, and my autistic son is banging on the pulpit on the stage, and I'm like, oh no, what's happening? And I'm standing next to the guy that runs the sound. I'm like, just don't look up front, just don't look up front, just don't look up front. It'll be fine, it'll be fine, it'll be fine.
Our
and
church live feeds, you can always see.
Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. If you go to
So, but yeah,
lifeinchrist.com, go just look on Sunday Night 5. He's there.
but
Like,
we-
oh, we haven't started yet because here he is.
and we've just had to kind of let him, do stuff, and let him not be so just like, oh my goodness, he's gonna, it's like just, like mom, I've had, like mom, relax, he's fine. And so it's like, to me, it's like, oh no, but to everybody else, it's like, just let him do his thing. And that's one thing I've had to learn, is to just, let
Well,
him.
and as part of his thing is, I do announcements most of the time, or if I'm leading singing or preaching, he'll say hello, Dad, right in the middle of services.
Well,
And if I don't greet him, he'll continue to say hello till I do.
He'll be up there.
Same is true for Jake as he's preaching.
Sweet.
Yeah, and we do, and everybody, and it's embarrassing from the beginning for us. But when people come to us and say, it's okay, let him do that, that's okay, I'm like,
Well-
yeah, that's easy for you to say, but for 10 of you that love that, there may be one that doesn't.
Yeah.
We haven't met those people yet, but it's gone pretty well so far, and it's just, I can't say enough good about Piedmont Road on that.
But we just, we let him. We do, again. We do what we feel is comfortable and what's best for him.
Mm.
And like I said, Lenny's there. She's great help, and we kind of all just, kind of work to wherever he's comfortable with. And like I'm to a point now where, like, if he can't sit through an entire worship service, that's okay. We do what we can do with him, and like it's just we know our limits, and we know, we're there, we're trying, and like I said, that's okay. And so, and hopefully, can be an example, because we know that there's so many families out there with special need kids that just don't.
Absolutely.
There's not like a
Yeah.
network that we have. And so, I don't know, hopefully we can get that out there, that, like, if you do have a child with special needs, don't be afraid to bring them to church. Don't be afraid to get out there, and, they can be active in the Lord's church
Absolutely.
too, even
Yeah.
though.
And psychologically speaking, parents with children on the spectrum for autism are scared of church.
Church
They're
is
scared
a-
of Target. They're scared of Walmart. They're scared of restaurants.
So it's like
and
crowds.
don't let that be a barrier,
Yeah.
because people will get over it.
Church can
Yeah.
cause great anxiety for
And
parents.
he's not going to sit straight up in a classroom in a chair.
Not gonna.
He's going to walk around the room. He's going to talk about what he's got, and then do his thing. And we have teachers, and as an educational program in any congregation, be okay with the fact that he's not going to be sitting there just like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Minister.
Did you go and talk to them and let them know ahead of time? And like,
Oh, yeah.
did you have to go and sit with him in the classroom, or is he able now to
No, he goes to class by
go all
himself.
by himself?
Oh, yeah.
At first,
He will sit down sometimes.
and he's
But, yeah.
actually better in class without. Children
Yeah.
are better for a lot of times for other people than they are for, like, you, which is good. I mean, I'd rather my kids be better for other people, but
Yeah.
but yeah, but now he's
Frustrating
to a
at
point
All kids are that way,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, and I'm
All-
glad.
Yep.
They're all the
Like,
same.
it's
Man.
okay for other people. So, but
Yeah.
no, we're we've got him now to where he is going to class, and he won't sit and do, but he participates kind of like on standby, like he's in there and he's participating, but he's doing his own thing. But yeah, but no, big thing is just don't be afraid to bring your kids to church and have them involved, no matter what happens. I mean, if there's a meltdown, if you have good days, we've had good days, we've had bad days,
Yeah.
we've had really bad days at church. And
So how do you handle those bad days? Give us an example
Okay.
of a
So-
bad day.
with him, like he's very social, and he loves eating at church. Like on days we eat church, especially with our care groups, like if it's a smaller group, he loves. He's like, oh, eat church. He calls it eat church. He's like, oh, okay, eat church. I'm like, eat church. So
Yeah.
on the days that we have like a whole congregational meal
Uh-huh.
is more overwhelming and overstimulating for him, but we try. And so we know, but probably the biggest meltdown was when he knew he wanted to eat at church, but it was a congregational meal, and he just got overstimulated and just he was starting to have, just kind of a meltdown. So what we do is just, like I said, everybody at church is aware, and just they kind of let us do our thing, and just we just remove him. It's like, okay, we just kind of do something to de-escalate, and usually like try to just get him either to, away from this stimulation.
So do y'all do that together, or are you the primary person, or how does that look?
Depends
Because
on
I know
who.
sometimes it's hard as the dad to be able to step in, even with not normal, but children who are not on the spectrum. But like I have 5 kids,
Mhm.
and when they were younger and they had meltdowns and stuff, Caleb always felt awkward. He felt pulled
Mhm.
because he's there, he's on the clock
Yeah.
per se, and so how does that work for y'all?
Our relationship is very good in the fact that we're both transparent. Like you're going to know what we're thinking. There's no poker face with Hannah.
Nope.
Don't take us to Vegas,
Yep.
where we
It wouldn't work out.
He and I can read each other and know, like, he's very good about when he sees that I've like had it and I can't, I mean, he will step in and kind of take over with Tyler when he sees I'm at my limit. And I will do the same with him when I know that it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I will take him away. Or like if we see that if Tyler's being overstimulated by like having me around, we would just kind of we read the situation
Yeah.
very well
That's wonderful.
and don't like gang up on him. We kind of see, okay, he's doing better. Like with church, like he'll go out usually like during like the mid sermon, and one of us will take him out and go into one of the classrooms and stream the sermon and kind of be with him, because he can't sit through an entire service, but we do the best we can. But if he doesn't want, like, we just kind of read the situation. Like if Paul's like, okay, I'll take him out, and if he's like, no, instead of causing a big scene, it's just like, okay, I'm going to take him out. So we just sort of like feed off of each other and read,
It's a team.
and
No
just
doubt.
we really have to, and not get like, okay, he doesn't want me not to get offended, like, okay, just whoever can take him out with the littlest amount of outbursts.
Yeah.
Let's just get the situation under control. But we're very, it takes a team, and it takes Lainey. I mean, like I said, our daughter is just, I don't know how we could do it without her. I mean, she is little mama. Like it is just, she's fabulous. So,
And so y'all been working with this for several years now.
Mhm.
So you've kind of gotten your groove going with
Yeah.
that.
we do, yeah.
But at the beginning, it was challenging. Do you think the consistency and the dedication over the years played a big part in that?
I think so.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he's on the spectrum, but he knows what's going on.
Mhm.
He knows where we're at. He knows what church means. He talks about it all the time.
He loves
we go to church. We go to church.
So sweet.
Yes,
He
son,
loves
we're gonna go to church.
We're
He's like, duh, yeah, we're gonna go.
Wednesday night, Sunday night.
Oh, yeah.
We don't
He
go
knows.
to church. He's like, okay, but he loves everybody there. But yeah, I think it's the consistency of, he knows the routine of church. He knows the people there, and like we sit in the same. So as far as the auditorium, we will go and
Fans around.
and that's been like, so we go when we first started going there, we were in the a cry room, which was in the back, and that was that was okay because we were there. Well, now he loves the auditorium, so we sit on the back row of the auditorium, which is like, growing up you didn't sit on the back row.
And part of that was kind of because he just didn't like the sounds of the singing.
Mm-hmm.
And even sometimes it's almost voluntary. Sometimes he loves it, sometimes he doesn't. He likes dictating the sounds. It's just part of autism.
So does he have like a headset that he
No.
Not really.
So we
No.
sit in the back, and like he doesn't
Wow,
we'll sit on the back, and just because that's like our spot, we've kind of got there because there's like a section of where if he gets antsy, he can kind of go behind the back row and kind of move around a bit. And so, but we have, but the consistency is, so we have a wonderful group of people who sit like in the rows in front of us that always sit with us. And so, oh, you hear me? But we have like our church family who it's consistent. They know Tyler and they know. So if like there are visitors, we know that we have people who are sitting around us that kind of like buffer us from everybody else. And so, but he knows who sits around us. And so it's so funny. So sometimes one challenge is, so because we have the same people who sit around us, if anybody comes and either sits on the end of our row or around us that he's not familiar
Oh,
with,
they're going to watch this.
I'm just saying, if you ever sit with us at church and
Changes the
Tyler doesn't
atmosphere, you
know,
know?
it changes the atmosphere big
Yeah.
time. Like he's like, who is that? You know, he'll be like, what are you doing? You know, it's like Tyler is. So it's
Bless
like,
our visitors.
so yeah, so it's just like, so that's why we have a good group of people who normally sit around us to try to help that from happening. So anyway, but
And that's okay.
Yeah.
That is
It's-
okay. I know
yeah.
as a parent, it's like, oh no, but
Mhm.
it's okay
So-
because that's what makes
True.
Tyler so special.
it is, and it's like, okay, you know, but yeah, so if you know, parents with, you know, with kids, just find yourself a good group at church that will sit around you and sit with you and will help you so that you don't feel like I don't feel like we do it by ourselves at church. I mean, I feel like
It takes a
it
village.
takes a village. It really does. And
Sure.
so
So what would be like if you could just one big takeaway from all this with being in the ministry field, working full time. Well, you work full time too. You don't,
so actually I don't. Well,
or you
I
did.
work as PRN, which
Okay.
is as needed, because of our schedule, because of Paul, you know, with Paul being involved in so many things, which is fine. That's actually been
Glad.
one challenge too. I'm not able to work full time.
Okay.
So I'm a nurse. I have a degree in nursing, but I am fortunate in that in my field you can work as needed, and so that's what I've been doing over the past years is work as needed. So basically, if I know Paul's going to be out of town or if I know he's got something up, you know, I don't have to work, but I can when it's convenient. So but with, you know, with Paul being gone a lot, we so but it is hard balancing, you know, work, church,
Absolutely.
and everything.
Yeah.
But
But having that good communication, so y'all feel like y'all have gotten to the point now, because I'm sure it took time. Is there one advice that you can think of that has helped y'all become better communicators through these times to be able to be on that same page with you being okay with not being involved with everything and being okay with Paul being involved, because we know he's doing great things. We know you're doing great things, but it's still, it comes back to being at home. You still have that home life. You still have, so getting to that communication, what advice would you give? How did you get there?
I'll let you start with
That's
that.
kind of a loaded question,
That's
but
Two things. One, where the two of us are concerned, we kind of give each other that look, and that look tells us that it's
we're like
gonna,
the living
it's
office.
gonna be okay. You know, it's gonna be okay.
not that looks.
And I think that they're being together as long as we have, and just our relationship. I think having a child on the spectrum has obviously brought us closer. I
Mhm.
think in some cases it can draw you apart,
Oh yeah.
but don't let it. I think prayer to God, God, it will you will conquer all. You will find success, but you have to keep God in your life. We
Absolutely.
mentioned something earlier about the consistency of Tyler knows when church is. This isn't an autism thing. As parents, your kids need to always know when it's time to go to church. They need to know when it's time to be faithful, which is always, and to always keep that in the forefront of your mind, because if not, we will falter. We will trip. We will fall. We'll get scrapes and bumps in life. But knowing that God is the first part of all of it is the rewarding thing, where you know that this may stink right now, but it's going to get better. It's going to be okay. One day my son won't have autism, and that's when we're in heaven. And we're going to we look forward to that day. But yeah, the looks we give each other and the way that our kids know how we act, and they respect that, and they know what to expect. on Sundays, Wednesdays, and all those days in between. And that's what keeps us together. That's what keeps us going. That's it.
Yeah.
That's how the band stays together.
That's
And
right.
we know each other, and we know that, like, if he's had a bad morning and I can't make it back to church on Sunday night, like that's, we do what we do with our family. And
Okay.
like he said, keeping God in, the center of it and going to church, and what he said about, sometimes families with special needs, it does drive them apart, and it does, people, it could have a negative connotation, but my outlook is that, I'm so glad that God gave us Tyler, because I know I wouldn't want him to with anybody else. Like, God gave Tyler to us because he knows that we're going to take care of him. Like, he is in the best family that he can be. And that's just like, that keeps me going. That perspective is just, instead of like, oh, why did
Right.
this happen? It's like,
Yeah.
I'm thankful it did, because I know that, Tyler, I wouldn't want Tyler with anybody else. Like, he is in
He's
a
a sweet,
he is in a
sweet
great
kid.
home, and
Mhm.
he could not be loved possibly any more than we do. And so,
And I know firsthand that y'all have done a fantastic and are doing a fantastic job with him, because I know, like, when we've come over to visit, my boys love
the trampoline.
the trampoline. They did not want to get off the trampoline. They had the best time
Mhm.
together. And so y'all are definitely doing a great job,
Thank you.
not only within your family, but with EYC and your John and Paul show. And now you've got your own show.
Yeah.
With stickers.
And with
need
sticker, we got
Stickers
stickers.
are really big.
Someone let us know. You
Yeah.
do get
Cover up with them and stay warm.
But
That's
it
crazy.
takes a team. It definitely
It does.
takes
Oh yeah.
a team, a
Sure.
God-centered team, and we just have to keep
supporting
focused.
each other and finding that
Supporting.
balance for each other. And it takes love and dedication
And communication. I
and
mean,
communication.
you have to
Yeah.
talk, and we love, both of us love talking. So yeah.
I have no trouble with that.
So communication is not a problem.
It's,
No.
no,
In our house.
not
In our house
Sometimes I
either.
like to lower it down a little bit. You're talking too much. That kind of thing. But
That's
we get
okay.
there. We have fun. We have fun. We
Yes,
tackle all the
it's
time.
not all. Yes, he's a man. I mean,
Fun.
it's
Laney's quick witted. It's a
Yeah.
crazy house.
we all
Yeah.
deserve each other. It's all, we're all had the same little sense of,
Yeah.
sarcasm, sense of humor, and
It's unfortunate
it's
we've been
fun.
on the world that all four of us are that way, but that's kind of where we are.
But no,
Watch your family is so great.
Yeah.
we are. It's a
makes you
crazy, and
Proud of them.
yeah, it's great.
Well, thank you guys for sharing just a
You-
little glimpse
Yes,
Sure.
like I did too
to
much talking.
the life. No, this was perfect. This is exactly, and I hope that what they have said today can help many of you women out there to realize that no matter what your children do, no matter your relationship, put God in the center, and that God made us who we are for a purpose and put us with each other for a reason.
That's right.
So be able to reflect on that, remember that, be encouraged by that, and remember to always put God first.